This is 10 Questions. We're here with Dr. Randy Pausch. Thank you, Dr. Pausch, for spending the time with us today.
My pleasure.
In New Orleans, Catherine wrote in and asked if you believe that you somehow were chosen to be this messenger, to be what she said, a messenger of hope.
Gosh, I've never really thought about that. To me it's, I attribute it to bad luck and nothing else. Certainly, if I had the choice, I'd give it all back if I could give the cancer back with it. And I'm glad I'm, making the best of a bad situation, but I'd certainly rather not have been in the bad situation to start with.
From Tokyo, a reader wanted to know if there's a kind of music or a type of music that you've sort of turned to for comfort. They were looking for specific songs. What's on your iPod?
Well, my kids and I love to listen to Sgt. Pepper. And certainly when you're going through chemotherapy, you can't listen to the theme from Rocky too many times.
Mohammed in Saudi Arabia wanted to say that Einstein once said, it's a miracle that curiosity survives formal education. And what would you say to that?
That reminds me of Mark Twain, don't let your schooling get in the way of your education. One of the things I always tell all of my students is that they should spend their time in whatever way helps them learn, and that I'm perfectly happy if they cut my class because they were doing something that was a better use of their time. I mean, there have been times when there was some guest lecturer on campus, and I would very happily tell my students, look, this guy's better than me. And sometimes I would cancel my class and say, we should all go listen to this other person.
In Lagos, a writer had written in about something that you also talked about in your book, which is the idea of your wife remarrying. I think his wording was if you'd given permission, in some way emotional permission, to do that.
Well, first off, it's not my permission to give. And the second thing is that I want my wife to be happy. And if she finds that happiness through remarriage, that's wonderful. If she finds that happiness without remarriage, that's wonderful. I mean, it's not my place to have a role in that decision, other than to tell her that if it's something that's somehow emotionally overhanging for her, that whatever she does is fine by me. And that, that's certainly a specific message that I have and will leave for my children, which is that, if the time comes where Jay should remarry, you kids may have a lot of mixed feelings about that, and you're entitled to them all. But if you're wondering how Dad felt, Dad wants Mom to be happy.
What hopes do you have for your children?
I'm a college professor. I see the train wrecks that arrive in my office when a child has desperately been trying to fulfill the dreams that their parents wanted for them. I don't have specific dreams for my children. I have a tremendous hope that they will have dreams, that they will work hard, that they will chase them, and they will try to do something worthwhile with their lives. But I personally believe that the worst thing you can do for your children is say, my dream for you is to do X. Because boy, if you aren't lucky enough to pick what would have been their natural inclination, desire, you've just set up a situation of tremendous tension that may not work out well.
Someone who's facing brain cancer, and he says he wanted to be an artist but ended up in IT, has, by his account, 3 or so months to live. And his basic question was, what the hell do I do?
Everybody's situation is unique. From his description, I'd bet on art school.
Your father is really he's a big character in the book in a lot of ways. And the things you say about him are pretty remarkable. I was wondering if you could just tell me, what your takeaway from him is, and what you've tried to emulate from him.
That you ought to be trying to have fun with every single thing that you do. And that you ought to be thinking hard about what you can do that helps others. It's such a simple observation. I mean, I love the movie Groundhog Day. This Bill Murray throwaway comedy is a perfect metaphor on life. And he goes through all the stages. He goes through self-pity and self-absorption, and then over time he realizes that spending his time helping other people is what provides him with satisfaction. And I just love that as just a lovely comedic metaphor, but it's absolutely true.